Hey, happy Sunday. I wanted to check in and talk to you about things that are going on in this country and in this world. The day after we suspended our campaign, the special prosecutor, Mr. Herr, weighed in with his report about the classified documents case regarding the president. So Herr said, well, there are issues there, but they're not prosecutable. However, he said the president is an elderly man with diminished memory and cognitive ability. And when he said that, it's like a dam burst. For months, we had all been directed by the DNC, like from on high. It was almost like you were forbidden to even suggest that maybe the president was not the best candidate for 2024. No. It had been decided from on high, right? It's Joe. We will go with Joe. You can't consider anyone but Joe. Even to consider or to listen to anyone but Joe is to elect Trump. We must save our democracy, and you can only do that if it's Joe. That's not how democracy is supposed to work. That decision is supposed to be made by the people who have reasonable access to a variety of candidates who might be running, so that the people are aware of those people and what their agendas are, what their proposals are for the next 4 years, and so forth. That didn't happen. We had a suppressed primary. Basically, we didn't even have one. According to the most mainstream media, the president didn't even have an opponent, blah, blah. We all know what happened there. But now everybody is, oh no, maybe President Biden isn't the best candidate. Not that Mr. Herr said anything that we couldn't see with our own eyes, but he had said it, and so there was permission granted, as it were, by officialdom to admit what you already know. So the interesting thing here that we want to be careful about is that the same system which directed us to say, Joe, no matter what, it must be Joe, if in fact they feel pressured so that the president, let's say, would step aside after the primaries, all that they would do is give you another one of them. Remember, we were never running against Joe Biden. We were running against the system. We were running against the corporate dominance of this country, whether it is insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, big chemical, big agriculture, big food, oil companies, gun manufacturers, military industrial complex, defense contractors, and so forth. And at this point, the Democratic Party is acting as a shill for that. That's what the political parties have become. The political parties should be facilitating democracy, not suppressing, manipulating, or in any other way diminishing the real vitality of democracy in service of their own club. And that's really what we're talking about: a club, a cabal, an oligarchy, whatever you want to call it, a corporatocracy. And it's really, really dangerous when a political party acts in a way that serves that. And they're like, no, it's just we're trying to protect democracy from Donald Trump, who is a threat to democracy. But if you do it through undemocratic means, then that too is a threat to democracy. So this is blown open, and it's blowing open further with the fact that here in Michigan, where I am now, they've started something called the Uncommitted campaign. Now, this is sponsored by, and I assume initiated by, Arab Americans, Muslim Americans who are understandably very upset about the president's policies vis-a-vis Israel and Gaza. And, it's always good when the people speak. And the Uncommitted campaign is the suggestion that in the Michigan primary on February 27th, that people vote uncommitted. And then there's a hashtag abandon Biden. My position, first of all, I am still on the ballot. And when you're on the ballot, and we are on the ballot in a majority of states, so whether it's in Michigan or anywhere else, when you vote for Marianne Williamson, you are voting for our agenda. You are voting for that economic U-turn, which is the repudiation of corporate tyranny and corporate dominance of our government and of every sector of our society at this point. Waging peace. Moving from a dirty economy to a clean economy, from a war economy to a peace economy, ending the war on drugs, and so forth. But the point, even more than that, is do we have to uncommit to Biden? Absolutely, in my opinion, obviously. But we can't just stop there. We have to commit to a better America. We have to commit to the emergence of a better world. We can't just abandon Biden. We must embrace a new possibility for this country. So if you leave it open so that, okay, what you've done is moved, influenced the Democratic Party so that they realize it shouldn't be Joe, their plan B is that the president would drop out after the primary, and then all of those delegates would go to the convention, and then they would get to choose someone else. And because of who they are, they would choose another status quo, traditional candidate, corporatist Democratic candidate. If you are thinking of a Democratic candidate who did not have what it took to challenge the Democratic Party when they were suppressing democracy the way they were during this campaign, you think that that person is going to have what it takes, the willingness, much less the desire to really take on big pharma or big insurance companies or defense contractors or Bibi Netanyahu? I don't think so. So that's where we are. And when I suspended my campaign, there's a saying, you can live your life out of a vision, or you can live it out of circumstances. I suspended my campaign because of circumstances, being that we'd done so poorly electorally in those first 3 primary states. But the vision remains. And that vision of the repudiation in our time, the way other generations have, repudiating the undemocratic forces, which at other times were things like slavery, institutional suppression of women, segregation, and so forth. In our time, it is an economic paradigm that now so infuses the way we govern ourselves that Congress itself is a system of legalized bribery. And every corner of our society is poisoned by this idea that corporate profits matter more than the safety, health, and well-being of the American people. So keep that vision alive. The fact that I suspended the campaign doesn't mean that the vision isn't there. What we're to do with it, not sure yet, but keep it alive. Keep it alive in your heart. Keep it alive in your conversations. Keep it alive in your analysis and consideration of what needs to happen in this country. And that's it. I'll keep talking to you, and you keep talking to me. I am in Michigan. I'm going to try to do some events because I want to be speaking to the public. I want to be articulating this vision. But you'll have to follow me on social media because since we're suspended, we can't use that list and all those legal things, which actually make sense. So please make sure you follow me on social media. Tell your friends in Michigan to stay tuned. And we're down, but we're not out. Much love. Thanks.